Bobi Wine has come out to reveal how the regime is trying to frustrate his campaign, saying that the Electoral Commission, together with the regime, are prohibiting processions, yet they continue doing the same. In a tweet, Bobi Wine came out to say the NRM runs our country like an apartheid state with different laws applying to the criminal regime and its agents, and other applying to the rest of us. The Abakama, Mao, police, etc. have been shouting their voices hoarse, saying there won't be any procession. And today the NRM criminals have been everywhere making processions. Hopefully tomorrow they won't be brutalizing citizens for celebrating our nomination event. That is the message by Bobi Wine on his X handle, citing that they are coming out to disallow processions, yet they continue doing the same. And I also concur, what is campaigning without procession? Okay, they know that Bobi Wine is a master in doing that. In fact, by Bobi Wine doing a procession, he spends less in that technique getting people. MUSEVENI can decide to take all stadiums, buy people, ferry people. He uses a lot of money. So they are trying to bring this narrative to fight Bobi Wine's campaign. In fact, even the Secretary General had an interview on NBS and he said these statements. He has
is expectant for tomorrow because the leader, the long-awaited leader, the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu will be nominated at 2 p.m. Of course, it's unfortunate that they pushed us to 2 p.m. because they wanted to make sure we do not do 2 rallies like we had planned. But what I can say is that we are ready. Today we had a pre-nomination celebration where we had prayers, we had people coming together. So we are ready to go for nominations. You hinted on something about processions and all that. I'm sure you saw what was happening in Kampala today. These NRM people hired people from all over the country to come and hold processions around the town and all that. And we say that, you know, you cannot have laws for different people. You cannot say that processions must not apply to NUP and will apply to NRM.
But just because NRM is doing it, must you do it?
No, what I'm saying is that the law must be applied to everybody. First of all, it is every citizen's right to enjoy peacefully. You know, there's no law that bars processions in this country. So the police, of course, is trying to come up with these things to try to hinder our activities. But like I said, if the NRM supporters are allowed to do processions, NUP supporters must be allowed to do processions as well. So we are calling upon our people to march peacefully. Do not breach peace, do not break any law, but come out tomorrow and celebrate the nomination.
So for me, I think, by the way, even the small liberties we had as a nation, they are being eroded away. You cannot tell me that I go in a campaign without a procession. Tell me one campaign which has never had procession. Even in big democracies where you think they have stadiums, halls, etc., sometimes they hold procession. So it is a chance that is being put in politics, but mostly affecting the opposition. MUSEVENI, by the way, for even the last campaigns, he never had a lot of processions because for fear of the unknown, maybe security. So he uses money to ferry people where he comes from. He can decide to ferry 10,000 people, which each getting an allowance of 10,000. It is very possible it's the money bags. So the avenue in which opposition leaders by the use to get support, okay, but also galvanize people is being blocked. And Molos may come out saying that you must hold rallies in maybe stadiums only. And by the time you know, the state would have booked all stadiums for years. So we wouldn't have even a small stadium to hold your rallies. So for me, I see this as an attack on our liberties, an attack on democracy, which must be stopped. Let's continue to hear David Louis Lubunguya's message.
President. The traffic police talked about the processions and said that those sometimes disrupt traffic flow.
No, I mean, that's why I've said that, you know, the role of the police should be to regulate these activities, not to block them, not to ban them. That is why even when you read the sections of the Public Order Management Act which are still standing, processions are provided for as one of the means through which people may express themselves. So if the police was to be, you know, non-partisan, it would just come in to regulate these activities and not to block them.
Don't you feel the need to balance between your supporters' enthusiasm and the need for safety?
That's why I'm saying that should be the role of the police to regulate. You know, processions happen everywhere in the world, in every major city, in every country, processions happen. But what happens is the police, for example, will come and block off certain roads when there's an activity, when there's a procession, and advise motorists to use another particular road, etc., etc. But like you've seen, our activities are always very, very peaceful. And I can say tomorrow our activities will be peaceful unless the security forces or these goons, the regime-hired goons, try to come and try to disrupt the people. But what I can say, our activities are always, always peaceful until...
So that is the Secretary General Bruce Wonguya explaining how the regime and electoral commission is trying to arm twist the NUP and its supporters for not holding a procession. So to show the hypocrisy of this regime, when General MUSEVENI was nominating, because he was among the first person to nominate, we saw NRM members making processions without being interrupted by the police. And they are coming out to tell us this nonsense. In fact, let me first play a clip when they were making a procession in the Kampala CBD EST. So you clearly see the double standards of the regime. Imagine if these were the NUP supporters. By this time, they would have eaten tear gas, they would have eaten canes, they would have even been brutalized or arrested. So the regime should stop subjecting the constitution, okay, in an equal manner. If you give enough out guidelines, why is it that this guidelines only catch up to opposition leaders? These are the things that are supposed to be interrogated. We cannot continue being in a country where the constitution is subjective, where if I do something because of the opposition, I'm charged, where if another person does the same thing and his NRM is not touched. So this is a republic that must be prayed for. We cannot continue to be like this. Trust me. So for me, I think, one, processions must happen, regardless of which party you come from. Let the best person galvanize. You cannot block someone because he's doing something better than you. Okay? Because you expect using other avenues of bribery, buying money. Because General MUSEVENI, even if he wakes up, he can start feeding people, even if they are in their hundreds with the allowance. Because he uses the state to campaign. He can use UPDF trucks. We've ever seen UPDF trucks feeding people. BOBI WINE cannot do that, or even other opposition leaders. That's the truth. So for me, I think since General MUSEVENI is becoming more old, he wants to go after subjugating our democracy. Because we all know the transition is the whole thing where he wants his son to come into power. So they are doing these gymnastics so that they fight the democracy of our country, which is unfortunate. Okay, so you must continue fighting for what is best. Of course, that's my opinion. Remain yours truly, Mr. Makindi, Kavya Sulaiman Mawagali, the next MP for Makindi East constituency. I will see you on another one. Peace. Nsanyula mu vetting ye Makindi East kyenayizemu kyandaze ebintu ndowooza bisatu. One, omubaka aliyo yasooka n'agamba mbu ebyokulonda abivuddemu. Ebyokwesimbawo. Teyagamba abantu muze ali abimufulumizza olwa pressure gye nali mutaddeko. Ate n'amaana agamba bwe twali tudde mu vetting kuba twagiruddemu nnyo najja ng'olwedde tutudde amawulire ne gamugendako ng'akomyewo. Ekyalaze bunanfusi bino bye tulimu si katemba mbokera bukezi n'ogamba nvuddemu ate nkomyewo. Birimu okufa kw'abantu. Abantu sayino nga beedi muto bakyali mu kkomera go n'ogamba kuba nze ntwala ekintu kino mbuno oba oweereddwa omukisa nga muganda ngo bwe bamukwasiza kawempe. Gwe abakomanda waawo. Baba kwasizza kangereze ku mundu nga RPG bakuwadde n'amasasa agalimu. Bw'ogiteeka wansi n'oganze mbivuddemu. Oba obizanyiddemu n'ogamba okomera olwassa bwate mundu wansi nze ne njibaka. Nze abadde akubagana ab'enare mu constituency okulaba nga njibafulumya. Obwo bunnanfuusi n'ambembino bye tulimu nyeko Derek si byakusaga olina okubikomya. N'avumya n'ekibiina kyaffe mbu kyali kimusaba ssente mbu bamuwe tiketi miliyoni 4 n'agaana ng'asirise. Tiyavaayo kola qualification najja ku kibiina nga kubanga kwa values affe mulimu discipline tiyayoleseza discipline n'oluba lutalo olina okukolesa discipline. Komando w'amaanyi ne waabeera n'abasirikale nga banafu
olutalo baba bajja luwangula ate komando omunafu ne waba n'abasirikale nga bamaanyi abagenda kuttisa abasirikale nze nakitutunga Makindye East komanda waayo eya abdicatinga nadduka katugenda mu protest vote bwe tunagenda mu protest vote n'agamba mbivuddemu